Hey guys, we're moving on to part 2 of our Earth, Moon, Sun unit. Today we're going to be focusing on Moon and the Moon notes. So I want you to be looking at that with me. You're on the back pages of your Blue Notes. We are going to restart numbering our paragraphs just because this is a slightly different section, just so it's easier to look at. So right here on this page where you see eclipses, this is paragraph 1. Solar eclipse, paragraph 2, lunar eclipse, paragraph 3. Move on down to where we're talking about lookout and the moon phases. This is going to be paragraph 4. So there's really only 4 paragraphs, okay? So I'm going to read them to you, explain some diagrams. You will be taking notes, okay? All right, so we're reflecting an eclipse. A model of the solar system can also explain eclipses of the sun and the moon. Eclipses occur when the sun, earth, and moon are all aligned, that means lined up, and one body or object casts a shadow on another body or object. A solar eclipse, which is the first one we can see right here, happens when the new moon passes directly between Earth and the sun. In a solar eclipse, the shadow of the moon falls on a narrow path on Earth. Along this shadow, the moon blocks the sun and the observers living along the area. A couple years ago, I think you were probably in 3rd grade, we had a solar eclipse that we could see from Oxford. So when it gets real kind of shady and dark. Okay. All right. Lunar eclipse. This is position 2. So this is a lunar eclipse. Okay. A lunar eclipse happens when the Earth passes between the sun and a full moon. This causes the shadow of Earth to fall on the moon when it is in the full moon phase. We do not see solar and lunar eclipses every month because the moon's orbital path around Earth is not the same plane or like in line with Earth's orbital path around the sun. Eclipses occur only when 3 celestial, that means space, bodies line up on the same plane or the same line at the positions of the red dots on 1 and 2, the image below. Okay, so we took that image out, so don't worry about that. So we will show you. So you can see here, if the moon was slightly above or below the Earth, this eclipse would not happen. Solar eclipses only can happen in the daytime because that's the only time we can see the sun. So if you look right here, these images are showing you kind of the moon starts slowly moving across the sun, and then it kind of looks like it's glowing. So when you have a lunar eclipse, it's during a full moon phase, and actually a solar eclipse happens in a new moon phase. Lunar eclipse happens in a full moon phase. So a lunar eclipse obviously happens at night because that's when we mostly see the moon, even though we can see the moon during the daytime some. That's just a whole different thing. So then it goes sun, earth, moon, and the earth is what's creating the shadow on the moon. Okay, so it goes here. So in a lunar eclipse, you can see the shadow starts creeping over, and then the moon kind of turns red. It's because of the reflection of the light and the refraction, and that's something we don't need to know. You can just know it turns red, so it's kind of spooky. All right, so here are your questions for 41 through 45. 41, when does an eclipse occur? We just read about that. Go look. 42, when does a solar eclipse occur? Go write that down. 43, true or false? During a solar eclipse, the moon blocks the sun to observers living in the area. Okay, go back and read about solar eclipse. 44, when does a lunar eclipse occur? And then 45, why do we not see a solar and lunar eclipse every month? Guys, all these questions right here, these 5 questions, they're all answered right here. There's no reason for you not to find it. Okay, so let's go down to moon phases. Okay, now we're going to spend a lot of time learning about this, so if you get confused, don't worry about it right now. Okay, Okay, so let's look out. Watch out. The moon changes appearance. It appears to rise in the east and set in the west during different times of the day or night. So yes, you can see the moon during the day. Due to the changing angle between the sun, moon, and earth, a different amount of the moon's sunlight side is facing earth in a cycle we call lunar phases or moon phases. Okay, but we say lunar so we can be scientists. You do not see the moon during the new moon phase because it rises and sets during the day. So if the sun is right here, the new moon phase is here. What side of the sun would be lit? What side of the moon would be lit up? The side facing the sun. The moon does not have its own light. It only reflects, so you can't see anything. Okay. All right. So you do not. This term waxing refers to the increasing amount of sunlit portion of the moon's surface, while waning refers to the decreasing amount of sunlight. Okay, so if you look here, it goes up and around, up and around. We start with the new moon. We go to waxing. We start seeing it growing or increasing from right to left. That's a crescent or a thumbnail or looks like a smiley face or a banana. Then you have the first quarter. Waxing gibbous. Gibbous refers to a moon that is almost fully illuminated by the sun. Okay, gibbous is a word from the old word that meant humpback, so it's kind of humped. Okay, so you have a waxing gibbous, and then you go to a full moon. This is the opposite of a new moon. Then you go to waning gibbous. You see that it starts to go away. Third quarter, waning crescent, and then we get back to the new moon. So to complete one lunar cycle from one new moon to the next new moon, it takes 29.5 days or approximately 1 month. So we will be talking more in depth about the moon phases because there's a lot you need to know. Okay, so let's look at our questions. 46, true or false? The lunar phases are due to the changing angle between the sun, moon, and earth. A different amount of moon's sunlit side, that's supposed to be is, facing the earth in a cycle. Okay, that is answered. 47. Why do you not see a new moon phase during the day? We went over that. Match your vocabulary words. That's pretty easy. How many days does it take the moon to complete a lunar cycle? Very easy. Up here, very easy. Hello, right there. And then label the moon phases according to the diagram on the previous page. Guys, you're copying the words from the diagram that I was just pointing to and putting the moon phases in the box. Okay? Sunlight, sunlight, new moon, new moon. Okay? Any questions? I hope not. This is fairly easy. It's in the end of your blue notes. You keep your blue notes, and if you get through, you can follow the rest of the directions on the board. And it's Friday.